All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Logan, and I will be telling you, let me sit down. I will be telling you the history about my history. It's kind of hard to know where to start, especially a subject where at the age of 24, you still don't know. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be truthful. You might see me wipe my eyes because history to me is a soft subject. I feel like history has a deeper meaning than what it really is and what's really taught in the schools. I feel like history just doesn't really be as touched on in certain parts in the schools as it is out in the world. Um, but with mine, like I said, I don't know. Like I've always just like struggled with liking school up until the grade of 10th grade. My mom was one of those moms where like we couldn't afford to live in a good area, but the one thing she could do was take us and make sure that we're in the best school possible. So I lived in Baltimore City most of my life, but I went to Baltimore County schools. Um, so that's the start of my history. One, just taking a 30 to 45-minute drive to school every morning there and back up until the age of 15 and 16, that's history right there. Like it tells you so much about economics and how much it's much to fill up your tank or it's much to get your children up in the morning and make sure that they're fed because you possibly would not get them to school on time because they just missed breakfast because you have such a far drive. So I think that was the start of it. I really don't remember much of history between the grades of kindergarten through fifth. Um, because one, I was in two different states, and two, like I said, I did the 35-minute drive, and then three, I moved from school to school. I went to roughly around six schools between that grade range, K through five. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I did it, and I think that's where it hit harder for me at the grade six because now at grade six, I'm in a study position. At the time, I was in a like study home where like my walk wasn't far, but oh no, sixth grade I was at a whole different school and I thrived so well. I enjoy that school because I made connections with the people there. They had field trips with us. Um, they interact with the students during like certain holidays. I don't remember much at that school. I was really like in marching band. I really enjoyed my math and my science teacher. My social studies teacher, I can't remember her face, but I can say I did good in the class. Now, I'm sorry, we can get seventh grade was when I transferred to a different school and everything was a little different. One thing a lot of people don't notice is the curriculums can be the same in the county. The way it's taught can be different at the schools. And so I transferred to a new school seventh grade year based on my sixth grade year results of me saying that, she's gifted and talented. Uh, and it wasn't the case. I struggled so much in all subjects, English, math, social studies. I struggled with everything. I just couldn't get the content down fast enough. I didn't know like exactly like what to do. I just didn't know much. I really just enjoyed being outside of the classroom. And so I remember my first history related field trip was going to the Smithsonian Museum. And it made me realize that I don't like being taught something. I'd rather look at it, read about it, and then like expand my knowledge on that. And that trip is like really that trip really hit home because that was around the time where, like I said, I moved to a different school, and this school was in a predominantly white slash Jewish area. So, um, my voice had changed at the end of the eighth grade year. And at the end of the eighth grade year, I we went on that Smithsonian trip, and there were so many people out there. And I specifically remember I was in the historical area, the Black historical area of the museum. And there were a group of girls, and they were Asian. And they said, "Oh, I like your hair." And at the time, I'm like, "My hair? Like, you like my hair? I have braids in." Like, and I still have the picture of me being there that day. And that's why this story hits home. Like, "You like my hair? Like, you never seen nobody's hair like this before?" Like, that moment right there was also a historic moment in a historical building because it just opens your eyes to like people being not racist, being open to like the different things. Um, yeah, it just felt so different to be realized other than or to be looked at other than an Oreo because I was being called an Oreo a lot during middle school. It didn't really affect me. I pushed through, but I think, excuse me, I think I forced myself to be around the black people so that I cannot be called an Oreo. And I was also seen as a class pet because I was like, I knew that I struggled and I had to be there more in the classroom. And so I paid attention more, and now I'm seen as the class pet. So that's another reason why I really don't like history. I was just really trying to pay attention more to better my grade and fell back on me. But I feel like history got better during time. No, I'm lying again. Lying again. History did not get better. Um, in middle school, my history teacher was my volleyball coach. So it was even harder those 4 years because my volleyball coach, um, he was not really mean, but he had an aggressive tone. It was more like, "How could you not know this?" And the four, or the three branches is this. And he was like really aggressive. Mr. Goodman didn't really mean much. Scary thing was, I seen him in the story the other day. He didn't realize me. He didn't recognize me, but I recognized him. And he said, "How is it going?" And I was like, "Guess what I'm going to school for?" And he's like, "What?" I said, "Elementary education." He was laughing because I struggled so much. I didn't like history. Nothing about history didn't sit well with me. The topics were very sensitive to me. Like, I didn't understand most of the big words. I mixed up the big words. And even when it got down to like testing, that's when I struggled the most. And if I couldn't understand the terms, then I knew I was going to fail the test. And so I just didn't like history. And I still don't like history. I'm so sorry, Miss Macy. I'm so sorry. But like, I don't know. It's just it's so hard to explain like what things do I like about history. It's so hard to talk about emancipation. It's so hard to talk about so many things because for me it's just a soft topic. I wasn't there. Like it makes me realize like if I was there, how I react because my attitude right now is just not best for history to be done. Um or history for me to be a part of like certain things in history is just not there. Like I just don't want to ever be in the situation where like now I'm in a textbook that my child will possibly read. And I just want things to change with history, and I feel like it's not going to change with history. And if it's not going to change with history, then my attitude won't change with history. And I realized that with the movie Freedom Writers, that movie was like a movie me and my family really enjoyed watching, and it made me realize so much. And that was another movie that also helped me like decide on my career. Like she was a wonderful teacher. She allowed the students' experiences to be a tool to be worked on in the class. And so it was an open area for them. And at the moment, I wish I had something like that. And I didn't really have nothing like that. And so with that, I related so much to the movie. Like to this day, I've never been out the country. I want to know how it feels. I want to know like the different areas, different cultures, the different languages. What do they like? What do they don't like? What are you not supposed to do that's seen as disrespectful? I want to do so much. Like, and I good have a good start with history. I have adopted siblings. I have four. Three are mixed. One is Hispanic, and right there, that's I feel like that's history itself. When I go out to like public places, people like look at me and my nephews, and they be like, "Well, are you the nanny?" And I'm like, "No, this is my nephew. Like, he's my nephew. I'm his sister's sister. I'm the aunt." Like, that's another thing that makes me dislike history because people use they rather accuse rather than ask, and it's just very hurtful. And so I don't like history. Um, so like my whole thing is just like being foggy. I'm looking at my outline. I'm sorry. Um, I just think history is better with real world experiences, you know? Like I am able to connect it. So sad to say, but the experiences that happen in the world help me able understand my role as a citizen in the world. Um, it helps me understand I lied, except for one thing, taxes. I wish we learned taxes in school because, like, it will just help me understand why I owe $25 last tax season. Will I owe the same this season? How do I know that I owe that? How do I do my own taxes? I wish there was certain stuff in school that we learn because taxes is a part of history, it's economics. But yeah, and I want to know, like, to this day. I keep on throwing around the word inflation, but like, do I understand it? Yes. But before, did I understand it? No. No, I didn't. Now I went through a real life experience, the pandemic, and the pandemic caused, so much. And now I understand. So that is an example. I want to better my attitude towards history, but like I said, if history doesn't change, then how can my attitude change? Um, but I'm willing to still teach it because of my career. I'm willing to put my own perspective and my teaching techniques to help students understand. I'm willing to expand the horizons of history so that people can, enjoy it and won't have the same attitude as me. I know my attitude is negative and I don't want to portray that towards my students, but yeah, I want my history to get better because right now all I just see is a a repeat of things, and our textbooks are the same as our parents' textbooks, and wow, I enjoy that.